Hey everyone, Caleb with Antique Book Collective, and today I'm getting to you guys with a interesting little video. I sort of got this inspired by a few of the different videos that I saw online, and that is answering the question of, do you even need a photo booth to have an eBay store? So a lot of the people that I saw all these videos for, they swore by them, and they were like, oh, you need to buy this $500 thing, oh, you should buy this $2,000 thing, oh, you should make your own, this and this and this. And all these people, from what I saw, they were saying things that would cost a lot of money and probably that would get them some pretty good money on affiliate income. And at the end of the day, there are definitely times and places for you to have photo booths, such as if you do jewelry or stuff like that, that you need to have really good lighting and stuff like that, that people want to have a very sterile environment for your photos. But for the rest of us, especially if we are doing this as a side hustle or we just aren't putting all of our money into it, a photo booth really is not always the best thing for us because, again, as I said, not everyone that does eBay is doing this as their main business, or if they are, maybe they're not doing it to make like $100,000. So because of that, a lot of people don't need a photo booth. Yeah, I'm going to say it. You don't necessarily need a photo booth. For me, I have been running my eBay business. My antique book business is actually what I do. I have bought and I've sold books that are worth up to, one of my best books was worth $30,000. I did all of this with no actual photo booth. Now, that isn't to say that I don't have a nice area to take my photos. I do. All my photos that I take are, I have a thumbtack board, whatever those are called, that has like burlap on it. I think it's a cool little texture sort of going on. It looks really nice. It complements the books very nicely, I think. And then my back is actually the back of a whiteboard. It's sort of a blue color and it's really simple looking. I'm actually probably going to put a picture of one of my listings or old listings here so you guys can see that. That's sort of what all my photos look like. All my photos have been like that. The only difference, the only change actually that I've made with my photo area, which is just over there. I'm not going to show you guys though, but I'm looking at it. The only change that I've made with that over the past couple of years has actually been I bought a couple lights, which I'll actually be doing a video on because I really like these lights, but they are like antibacterial, but also good for lighting. It's really nice. So for me, when I'm doing my books, I can kill some germs as I'm taking my photos. So it's cool, but not really the biggest thing. But end of the day, my little photo booth area, again, I'm pointing at it, without the lights, that area probably costs like $40. That's a whole lot less than these multi-$1,000 photo booths that people are selling. But that isn't to say that you guys need to spend the $40. I mean, honestly, I could have had a thumbtack board sitting on its own. I could have had a background on its own, done it for pennies on the dollar. Honestly, guys, there was a time that I was actually doing some Amazon selling for a few different things, and I made my own products. And to do my photos for that, I was like, well, I'm not going to buy a photo booth for that. So I actually went to Dollar Tree, and I bought 2 white poster boards. So I put one on the wall, put one on a table against the wall, and I got my nice perfectly white background for my things. It worked really well. So literally, guys, you could do your photo booth for as little as $2, or honestly, like if you have a nice corner in your house or something like that, just do it in the corner of your house for free, so $0. You don't really need a photo booth to do pretty well on eBay. Now, that isn't to say that you can get on without having a photo booth forever or a photo area forever. There is definitely a time and a place for you to get a photo booth or a photo area. So if you're doing really high ticket items that people want to get really good quality images for, like as I said, jewelry, you probably want to get really good pictures of those because everyone wants to get a good picture of the diamonds. They want to see this, they want to see that, they want to see just what shade of gold you're doing or what shade the sterling is, because sometimes those shades can be a little bit different and stuff like that. So you'll want to have something like for jewelry, you'll want a photo booth. You'll want it to be sterile. You'll probably want it to be white because white is probably the best for that because everyone has something white in their house that they can base colors off of for your jewelry. Whereas with me, with antique books, yes, I probably could and should do a photo booth at some time. But again, I sort of like the current style that I have for my store. I love the burlap base with the plain black, actually it's bluish, but blank background. I think that's a really nice look, and with how I ship out my things, it's all a really nice sort of rustic sort of style with my business. So my rustic photo area works really well, and in addition to that, it's pretty cheap for me to have. I can take it down and move it wherever I want, whenever I want, which is really nice because as I've said in other videos, I'm working on moving, getting closer and closer to doing that. Really excited for that, actually. but that's just how I do my business. Other people, I know there are people that do clothing businesses. They just have like a board with some pins on it, or a wall with some pins on it. I have a wall over there, so that's why I'm doing that. But they have all of that, and they just hang their shirt off that, or they lean the shirt against that, and they take all the pictures of the shirts or the dresses or whatever they're selling, and that works really well for them. And you can do those sort of things for, again, just a couple dollars or maybe $100 if you went all out. And it's really nice because you guys can do it for basically no money at all. And with that said, though, there is something to be had with photo areas if you want to do it as well as you can. So one of the things is good lighting. So for me, where I have my photo area, which is just over there, it's in the sort of center of the room. So all the lighting from the room does give it enough lighting to get good photos, but I wanted to get even more lighting on it. I didn't like a few of the shadows that were showing up on my things, so that's why I purchased two different sort of strip lights. Again, I'll do a video on those in the future because I really like these and they work very well for this. But I have two little lights, and these two lights are able to shine from both sides, and since they're sort of strip lights, it gives it an effect that makes it so there's almost no shadow, which is really stinking nice. When you guys are doing your photos, you want to have as little or no shadow as possible on your items, unless of course if you're selling something like a box and you're taking a picture of the inside of the box and it's supposed to be dark, I don't know. But you want to make sure that everything's as well lit as it can be so people can get a good gauge on what the colors are of the particular details, because when they are looking at something and they're trying to decide, okay, what am I looking at here? Is that a shadow? Is that a stain? What am I looking at? So when you can have consistent, good white lighting, that's the best thing for your photos for your business. So again, guys, white lighting is what you want to get for these things. Yellow lighting can work. It works fine. I mean, people have had yellow lights ever since Edison made the light bulb, ever since fire, ever since basically anything. So white light's good, but yellow light's good, but white light's better because it's more the natural lighting. It's the color of the sun, the sunlight that we get. It's really nice for all that, and it'll give you a lot better photos for your things. It's really nice for all of that. So if you guys can, I mean, honestly, you can go to a garage sale. You can get like one of those fluorescent tube lights, put that over your photo area, maybe have it so you can pack it up and move it. Anything really works. I mean, you could get some old night lights or whatever, maybe not a night light since that's not very bright, but like you can get whatever light fixture you can, just get some more lighting in there. It's really nice. If you guys are doing it though, it really depends on what you guys are selling. So let me look around really quick. So I don't have anything. Oh no. Here's one thing. So I have a little notepad right here, and it's just a normal steno pad. So as you guys can see, it probably is fine. But if you guys had a really bright light on it, it would make a really big glare on this thing because the finish on it is a little bit glossy. And when you guys are doing that, that is something that you might want to change up your photo area for. So glare is a really big issue. Yes, you can move around your camera to make it so there's no glare. You can move around your lighting, but at the end of the day, there are a lot of things that can be problematic. So you might want to get something more of like a diffused light for your photo area. Diffused light will reduce the amount of glare. So I'm talking something like, they have like these selfie cameras. I saw one at Walmart not too long ago, and it was like $5 for like a selfie camera, and it was like a good circle, and because it was a circle, it like put out all the light and all of the really nice areas, so it wouldn't have all the glare. It would light everything up consistently. So there are things that you guys can buy for pretty cheap. Again, I'm not really doing any links for this because there isn't really good links for me to send for this anyways, but I mean, I'm not doing this to say I want to make money, but that's some of the things that you guys can do for your photo areas. Lights like that, I've seen people use them for their clothing stores. I've seen them use it for all sorts of different things. For me personally, I actually had a class in high school, where we actually were doing sort of like mock listings for online stores, which I think is sort of interesting. I didn't actually think about that and how I'm doing my own online store now. I think that's sort of funny. But we sort of did that sort of thing, and the teacher actually had a light box. That's what they're called, like this photo booth light box. And they had this sort of thing, and they were like, oh yeah, do this and this and this. And it was funny. I used that, and yeah, the lighting's really good. Yeah, it made my thing look really good, but at the end of the day, I could have recreated that at my own house. I could have bought one at my own house to do that. But at the end of the day, again, I like the style of my own personal thing. And you guys honestly need to figure out the style that you guys want to do for your business. And for me, the light box, yeah, that worked really good for most of my books, but it would have given me a glare on some of those books. There's the little connection right there. Sorry, I didn't make that earlier. But it would have caused a glare on a lot of the books that I do sell, because yes, I do sell largely. Let me just grab one. largely I'll just sell like antique books, and like, yeah, most of them are like sort of matte colored and they're not going to have a glare. But look at this one. This one has a little bit of glare. I'm hoping that comes through. But this book right here, I mean, it's not, I don't think it's an antique. I want to say it's from the 60s. Oh, sorry, 1924 is when this one's from. So, I mean, it's old. Let's see, it's not actually an antique just yet. I got to wait 2 years for it to be an antique. But like a book like this, if I put it in a light box, and if the light box did not have like a diffused lighting on it, it would get a good glare on it, and it'd make it so people couldn't see just quite what color the book was. They couldn't see all the details on it. They couldn't see if certain things were, if there were scars on it, that sort of stuff. So you guys want to make sure that you're doing a diffused lighting, or if you do not have a diffused light, which again, it's very nice that you should have it and could have it, but it's not entirely required. If you don't have a diffused light, just be sure that the light you're using is bright enough, and then just have it at a further distance. And if you have it far enough away, the light will diffuse to the point that it should not have too much of a glare. You might end up having to like put a shade over it or something along those lines. There's a lot of things that you guys basically just need to fiddle with and figure out just what works best for you. I know I'm sort of like going in way too deep on all this, and it might be a little bit boring, but lighting is a very important thing for you guys if you guys are taking your own photos, which you should be if you're doing an eBay store, because it's sort of be dumb to outsource that, seeing as you have the product and all you really need is a phone to take the photos. Like for me, I literally take all the photos for all my items on my phone. A lot of people will swear by using cameras or all these sorts of things. Honestly, guys, just a phone works great, so long as your phone is like newer. So for me, I have been doing my eBay store for, I don't know, better part of a decade. And I've been doing it long enough that I sort of know what works and what doesn't. I like to think that I sort of know something by now. But something that you guys definitely want to keep in mind, though, if you guys are doing phone cameras or something like that, is if you guys are using a phone that's like older than maybe 15 years, maybe it's time to either upgrade a phone or use a camera. You can get some really good cameras for pretty cheap money. Of course, it's going to be an expense, but odds are you guys probably have a newer phone that you can't take the photos on. But you want to have a good enough camera that the photos are clear, that you don't have a lot of pixels, like that you could see. Like you want to make sure that if someone zoomed in on your thing, they'd be like, okay, so I could see right here that this page is ripped. Whereas if you had a really bad camera, you might not be able to see that. So I hope all that helps. And with all that said, I'm sure I'm going to do a video on just how to make your own photo booth in the future, because this is a really big subject. But at the end of the day, guys, you don't need to buy a really expensive photo area to do it. You can just do it in the corner of your house, so long as you have good lighting. Just a little pro tip though, if you are doing it in the corner of a house, make sure that you're not having your shadow in on the photos that you're taking. In addition to that, another pro tip is if you're taking a picture of something really shiny, such as like the back of a CD disc. I don't have any CDs on me, but you know how those are like a mirror finish. Make sure that when you're taking your photos that people can't see your reflection in those photos. That is just a little pro tip sort of thing that a lot of photographers don't pay attention to, but professionals do. That's something that you guys can do to make your photos look a little more professional, is make sure that there's no shadow, no reflection. But with that said, back to photo booths. You don't need to buy them. You can do it in the corner of your house for basically for free. You don't need a fancy camera, just use your phone camera. So you guys can do this for basically no or low money. You don't need to spend hundreds of dollars or thousands of dollars, unless of course if you want to, if it suits the style of your store, all these sorts of things. It's really up to you guys at the end of the day. So don't feel like just because you see 500 videos on how to make one and why you need one, all these sorts of things, don't feel like you have to get one right now. And if you guys are doing your eBay store and you're just brand new, honestly, don't do it. If you guys are brand spanking new, you don't need to spend an extra $200 or whatever to get your photo booth exactly like this one guru said. You guys can just start your business right now. A lot of people will have their eBay stores and they'll like have, basically they took the photo in their own house and there's still junk on the thing they're selling, but they're like, hey, here's this, it's only this, the cat in the background is not for sale, ha ha ha, that sort of thing. I mean, a lot of people do this like it's a Craigslist listing, which it's not. You should be a little more professional if you can, and if you are a little more professional, it does work well for you, but there's a lot of things that you can do, should do, and they don't always cost a lot of money. So I hope that really helps you guys. I hope that inspires those of you who are on the fence and are afraid to start an eBay store because of all the expenses. Because at the end of the day, guys, you don't have to spend a ton of money to start your eBay store. Honestly, you can just start right now, sell a couple of things that you already have, and it's a great way to just dip the tip of your toe, there we go, into the waters of eBay and see what you like, see what works for you, and see if it's even something you want to do. So I hope that helps. If it does, please be sure to subscribe, drop a like, drop a comment, all these sorts of things. I'll see you guys in the next video, and see you in one of them.